How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the first ever Into the Nerdiverse podcast, whatever. I wanted to do something a little bit different than my movie talks. So I wanted to talk more TV, um, movies, toys, whatever is out there in the nerdosphere. I guess you could call it. So I came up with this. And so this is my first live, also my first solo show. So it's the first time I'm by myself, first time. It's a little nerve wracking because I'm never done this before. So um, bear with me. We're gonna have a lot of fun on this live. So there's a lot to kind of cover for this week. I want to use this as a way to just see what's going on this week in the realm of pop culture nerd stuff. So yeah, so we're gonna keep this non-spoilery. So whenever we talk about any of these TV shows or movies, we're not really gonna talk about spoilers. We're gonna keep it spoiler free and have a good time. So um, here we go. So Obi-Wan has been out for a few weeks now. I think it's on episode number 4. If anybody's been watching the show, comment. Let's talk about it. But I think there's a lot of good and bad about this show. It's getting kind of mixed reviews, and it kind of should. It's kind of a mixed bag of heartfelt story to bad storytelling, bad directing, bad action sequences. Yes, no spoilery, Mr. Ernst Deal. So, yeah. So this last episode 4, came out Wednesday. Obi-Wan and Ms Marvel both had an episode come out. Ms Marvel was number 1, and we'll get into that one later. But I like Obi-Wan. I don't understand a lot of the criticism with there's not enough Obi-Wan. I understand where the story is going with why I guess he's not in there all the time, or he's quiet or whatnot, and it's kind of like a parallel to Luke, I guess, in a way, in The Last Jedi. So you kind of see some similarities. He's defeated. He feels like it's really not worth it, and he decides to. And then he eventually, through the story, he kind of gets back into it. But this last episode, I felt like it did not it didn't do anything for the overall story of the season. There was one thing in it that really was, I guess, important, but I feel like they could have done that in an episode before. They could have kind of shoehorned that in, because most of this episode really is kind of pointless. Most of it's pointless. That's where a lot of the writing is really bad. I know we got a lot of flack from really toxic Star Wars fans with the character of Reva. I guess people didn't like her characterization. But in my opinion, like that first episode, I didn't really care for anybody's characterization. I think they either overplayed it or played it. I kind of feel like Ewan McGregor is underplaying it a little bit, especially this last episode. I feel like he's spending more focus on getting that Alec Guinness voice than to get a good portrayal. I just think he's focused a little more on that. So sometimes, like, it kind of looks like he's phoning it in, but he's just trying to get those mannerisms and the voice down. And I think that kind of takes away from it, as well as the fight choreography in this show. Yeah. All right, Zio to Hero. What's up, cosplay dude, Willie? Zio to Hero, he's always Billy. Probably Billy. He's gonna harass me all the time. But, so with Obi-Wan, like this last episode, again, we're not going into any spoiler details, but I felt like whoever the stunt coordinator was probably not good at his job. You know, I understand Obi-Wan's rusty with the lightsaber, but when he's taking on a droid with 2 stormtroopers behind him, and the stormtroopers don't shoot until he turns around, and all he's doing is just waving his lightsaber around like this, rather than, like, you know, there's no coordination, he's just kind of waving it around. So, yeah, 45, 55. What's the other 5%? What other movie? I know you wanted to talk about The Last Starfighter. But, yeah, so I do kind of like the inner struggle with Obi-Wan in the show, but it's just kind of everything else. I know you have, you know, the thing with the Grand Inquisitor. People don't know what's going on there. I'm sure there's going to be. That's true. 5% bickering. That's a lot more sense. But yeah, I just like the internal struggle. It kind of helps connect the whole why people hate Luke in The Last Jedi, why he did what he did, which kind of makes sense from the Force Awakens perspective, because everybody who knows me knows I hate the Force Awakens. It's the only Star Wars movie that I do not like, because I just felt like they just dismissed a whole bunch from the original trilogy, and it was, anyhow, there's a lot. But people didn't like that Luke kind of gave up and he wasn't just going to go and start attacking. Why did he? Why did Luke give up? Why did Obi-Wan give up? Because they're defeated. They thought they lost, and, you know, if with Luke, if his nephew can take over the whole, like, destroy a whole school, bring, you know, recruit guys to destroy everything and kill a bunch of training Jedi, you know, that can be defeating. And with saber fight, and episode 3 was worth it. Though I do think my favorite lightsaber fight was episode 1. That is my favorite lightsaber fight between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. Just because I love Darth Maul. I think I like Darth Maul. Maybe just the way he looks, I like it better than Darth Vader. But yeah, Darth Vader is the more established character. But I think Obi-Wan kind of connects that point to Star Wars, because he's defeated because the Empire rose, and, you know, they're hunting the Jedi, and the Jedi are, you know, outnumbered now. So, but has anybody been watching Obi-Wan? It's already 4 episodes in. Let me know if you have and what you think about it. So, because I'm enjoying it outside of just some bad stuff, like 10-year-old Leia being able to outrun thugs. You know, they should be able to get to her. Episode 3 of that makes a lot more sense. Yes, and that was actually a better lightsaber fight than him using a lightsaber in the next episode, because that was horrible. I didn't make you do nothing. Like I tell my daughter, who did this? You made me do. No. Who made you do this? I did it. So, well, that was when she was younger. Now she's just a preteen, so she kind of has an attitude anyway. But it's been a pretty fun series. Yeah, there's some like there's things to like about it. There's a lot not to like about it, but to me, most of that's production stuff and not story. I think the story's pretty solid. Again, outside of episode 4, I really feel like outside of the like that the one pivotal thing at the end, the rest of it was not necessary. Like they could have somehow shoehorned that in to the third episode. Yeah. Actually, peanut butter is the best thing to get rid of hiccups. Just FYI. If you ever have the hiccups and you can't get over them, just take a spoonful of peanut butter, right away. Gone. Instantly. It's done. There's ones I had like an hour and a half of hiccup fits. Spoonful of peanut butter, gone. Twice it's happened. Gone. My daughter, same thing. Gone. So it's scientifically proven. I don't know how, but peanut butter cures hiccups. All right. So, I think that pretty much sums up Obi-Wan. I know we're 4 episodes in. We got 2 episodes left, and doesn't seem like a whole lot's happening. So now the next 2 episodes are probably gonna gear toward kind of faster paced action and whatever, and get Obi-Wan back into the Force. I'm hoping that we. Thank you, Billy. I tried to do something different so that way you can see what we're talking about, and it keeps me on subject. So when I go down my rabbit holes, I can get right back to my subject. But yes, Qui-Gon. I didn't say Qui-Gon. I was getting there though. But I'm really looking forward to how Obi-Wan can connect with the Force and be able to talk to Force Ghost Qui-Gon. I really hope we see Liam Neeson. That would be awesome. Yes. ESPN 8, The Ocho. Was that off of a movie? Kind of feel like that was off of like Idiocracy or something. Let me know if that was. I think it's Idiocracy, but it could have been something else. Alright, so now we are going to get into Ms. Marvel, because the first episode dropped also on Wednesday, so Obi-Wan and Ms. Marvel both had episodes drop. Yeah, it's ESPN 8 and ESPN 5. It's a multicast. So Ms. Marvel. So this show, I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be. It kind of felt like it could have been like a cheesy Disney Channel show. But with the first episode, it really got me interested. It's kind of it's not really a fast-paced show, but it's interesting to kind of see a different side of the MCU. I know we've seen Spider-Man, who is, a high school kid, but he was already a hero whenever you first saw him, and he gets all this help from Iron Man. And anywho, oh yeah, ESPN 9. It's a very confused person. Yes, I am a very confused person. As you can tell when I talk, especially when I'm talking about myself, it is horrible. Yeah, like it's different than what we've seen before, with a Pakistani Muslim rather than just a white kid. There's more culture in this story. There's more to learn about than just some kid from Brooklyn. So and I feel like I don't want to mispronounce her name wrong, but I think it's Kamala Khan. I think she's got a lot. Even as me, as a 35-year-old white man, there is like a lot of a lot to relate to in her character. She's not very popular. Popular kids don't like her. They think she's weird. She's even her guidance counselor, thinks her over imagination is gonna, ruin her. Well, I don't know as far as mess up her powers. I'm not quite. I haven't read the comics, so I don't know as much about that side. But I have heard before it came out, when the trailer came out, that people said that the her powers were different in the show than they are in the comics. But if you kind of look at the MCU, the movies in general, they do that all the time. They had to alter her powers. I didn't know they didn't had to. I did see something. I think it was yesterday on in the comics that she gets her powers like the similar way, except for there's a different reason behind it. Actually, that actually makes sense. But we're not getting to spoilers. But that makes sense. If you watch episode 1, I don't know how many episodes there is going to be. I want to say there's going to be 8. But I'm not quite sure. I don't know. If you know how many episodes is going to be, let me know. I feel like there's going to be 8. It's not going to be a smaller series like Obi-Wan, which is 6 episodes. I feel like it's going to be. I think the episodes are shorter, so they can make more episodes out of it. So I feel like it's going to be 8 or 9 episodes. Her powers are a lot like Mr. Fantastic. A little bit. I think it's similar. Like, I don't think she stretches. I think she just like creates some sort of force that changes her molecular structure. Oh, there's going to be 6 episodes? I would have thought that there would be more. So I think the other MCU shows typically have, some of them have 6 to 8, 9 episodes, I guess, depending on how long they are. Let me just, well, yeah. I believe you, Zio, the hero. That kind of stings that it's 6. I was kind of hoping that'd be more than 6. But at least we got something after Obi-Wan finishes in 2 weeks. We still got more Ms Marvel. And then we have, I think we have the Andor show is coming out in August, I want to say. I feel like there's something that come out in July. Maybe Andor's coming out in July. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Ms Marvel. Yeah, so I like how they framed like the show, where you can kind of see her imagination run with her. The runtime isn't the same. I thought like they would have, typically they had like, they can only have like 200 some odd minutes, and they just split it up into how many episodes. And so if they have shorter episodes, they have more episodes. If that makes sense. That's how they did last year for like Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that's why the Falcon and the Winter Soldier were fewer episodes, because the episodes were longer. That's true. They can be whatever. That's, yeah. They can have a longer like series finale or something. I think that first episode was like an hour though. So who knows? But yeah, I just like that you kind of go with her imagination. You kind of see it in the real world. It kind of keeps your mind moving on the show, and it kind of keeps it kind of exciting a little bit. And again, her character is extremely relatable to even me, because I was never the most popular kid in school. I never tried to fit in, but I didn't have the same kind of story with her parents because they're kind of strict because they're from that culture, and it's one of those general um, shows where the parents don't approve what you want to do, and you want to make a name for yourself, but your parents want to make a name for yourself too. There isn't any commercial sales, so there isn't an incentive to have more episodes than ad break with it, so they can make a more fluid series. Look at Moon Knight. I kind of feel like Moon Knight wasn't as fluid as it could have been, though. I was slightly disappointed with Moon Knight, but it was just anticlimactic. So I'm hoping Ms. Marvel's not anticlimactic like that. We still don't know what, because this first episode is basically just how she got her powers. A little more insight into her family life, her home life, school life, and then her get her powers. We don't know who the villain is. We don't know what obstacles are going to be in her way. What connection this is going to be for the next phase of the MCU. And so that's kind of what I'm looking forward to in this show. I enjoyed the first episode again. And I think I enjoyed it more than I have since my favorite MCU show right now is WandaVision. And I felt like they got progressively worse as they went. So I'm hoping this is the breath of fresh air to kind of revive a little bit of that hope that I have for the MCU. I've never been the biggest MCU fan. I was an opponent of Spider-Man going to the MCU because he's my favorite superhero, and I wanted him to stay by himself. And it took 3 full movies and a few partial movies for him to finally be on his own now. But that's just me. I think most of the MCU movies are okay. I don't think there's a bad one as far as the MCU goes. There's some bad Marvel movies, but not connected to the MCU. But yeah, it's just I'm hoping for the best for the show. So I got a good first impression. So I'm hoping, but that is actually good because with most of the Marvel MCU shows, they kind of build into something. So this one started off on a good foot rather than waiting 2 or 3 episodes to kind of get into it. Now, I don't have MCU exhaustion because I don't mind. I like the way it's connected because that's how the comic books are. So it's like a movie version of the comics. I just never cared for the MCU back in 2008, like before it was the MCU. So to me, it's just I just never I never cared about Iron Man, never cared about Thor, never cared about Captain America. Those weren't heroes that I cared about. So the MCU wasn't a big deal to me. No, Billy, we can't talk about the pain in your foot. That's true, but nowadays there is nothing new. Like everything is based off of something, or even if it's original, there's always influences with everything. Though, if you want to watch a really good movie, and I'm sure I already mentioned this to you, but what is that? Everyone, everything, everything, everywhere, all at once. That's an amazing movie. To me, it's the best movie I've seen in years. So check that out. Especially like me having a daughter, like that movie is super emotional as a parent of a girl. So I may have almost cried in that movie. So that's something that you need to check out. 6 main story types. I guess I could see that. Oh, you watched it twice. I've only seen it once. I need to see it again. I've been meaning to see it again, but yeah, it's a great movie. I told you it's a great movie. Um, Not that my opinion is always good, because I like a lot of things that people don't like. Like as far as like Spider-Man 3 of the Raimi movies is the only one that I cared for. I didn't like 1 and 2. Everybody hates 3. Um, and the Ghostbusters 2016 with all the all-female cast. I love that one. But that's just me. That's just me. I'm one of the few. Um, so okay, so now we're gonna get into like really nitty gritty. I don't know if anybody has been watching The Boys lately, because we've had 4 episodes in the since last Friday. So in the last week, we got 3 episodes last Friday. We finally got 1 episode today. It was really kind of annoying. I don't know what was going on with Amazon, but it was either supposed to come out like 8 o'clock Eastern time last night, or 3 o'clock, or midnight Pacific time this morning, but it didn't come out. Like, I stayed up till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the freaking episode, and I don't think it didn't show up on Amazon until like 6-7 o'clock in the morning. So yes, well, if you think season 2 is brutal, season 3 is not as brutal, but it is way more crazy, especially the first episode. Like the first episode, you just go into crazy town. I'm not going to spoil it here, but I can't say, because this is a family friendly show. Like, my show's a family friendly show. Boys is not a family friendly show at all. My daughter can't even look at one cell of that film. But Oz AWS was having back end issue. Oh, yeah. That's what so yeah, something like that. It was always technical stuff. If anything has to do with me, technical difficulties. I wanted to watch it, so they had to give me technical difficulties. So I still end up watching the 4th episode today, and I kind of feel like the 3rd season it's a little slower than the first 2 seasons, but there is a deeper story involved with it. So, and if anybody's like a Supernatural fan, I don't watch Supernatural, so I can't tell you what the guy's name is. But he plays like a Captain America type in the show. But like this 4th episode that came out today, it started out kind of slow, but it kind of ended with not a bang per se, but like there's a lot of uncertainty now with what's going to go on. The first 3 episodes was kind of slow, kind of developed to get us back into where the characters are now versus where they were, because it's kind of a different world for the main characters. Yeah, it's a good show. Like, it's not a nice show, but it's got a lot of good, action, and just kind of like the intricacies of like why things are happening, what's going on. I haven't read the comic books. I really want to get into reading the comic books, but there's a lot of other comic books I need to get into. Yeah, Dean Winchester. He's Soldier Boy. So, but season 3 does have the funniest part of like every Jensen act. I think it's is it Ackles or Ackles? I think it stands with an S, maybe. But it has the funniest part of like any episode of The Boys, and I don't know why. Like, it's just funny to me. Like, I'm sure I'm the only one that laughed at it. It's not a spoiler if for me talking about this, but the character of the Deep, he has like a Lifetime movie thing going on. So they show like a trailer for his new Lifetime movie that's about his life. And yeah, I do want to read the comics and the show. Yeah, well, they got to make it different because a lot of people want the movies to be just like the comic books. But if they are, then why watch them? Just read the comics. You got to have something different. It's its own universe. It doesn't have to. It's not canon to the comics. It's creating its own canon, its own universe, and let there be some mystery and let it develop. Through osmosis rather than forced into it. But the Deep has his little Lifetime movie trailer thing going on about his life and all that, all trying to get back into the Seven and the Collective and all that kind of stuff. And then it's the movie title. Yeah, they are way different. They need to be different. But yeah, I used to watch on YouTube Comic Books Explained, the boys whenever the first season or two came out. Yeah, they're a lot different. There's a lot of gender swapped characters. Some characters that were this type of hero in the comics or this type of superpower in the comics is this type of superpower. But the title of this movie, I gotta get back to this because this is the funniest thing in the world. It's not gonna be funny, probably not gonna be funny to any of you. But it's just right when they said it, it was like, not without my dolphin. I laughed for like 10 minutes on that one. I don't know why it was so funny. It's a play on the movie, the Sally Fields movie, Not Without My Daughter. It's Sally Fields and the guy who plays Otto Octavius, where they moved to the Middle East to be closer to his family, and then he starts abusing her, and then she leaves with her, tries to leave Middle East with her daughter. But it's called Not Without My Dolphin. I don't want to, I don't know. That's hilarious. He gets power from. Well, okay, I'm not going to spoil it, but you see the trailers where he's got powers. Have you seen it, Jim? I know Billy said that he's in season 2, so you've seen the show, or the season three so far. Oh, and today they announced that it was greenlit for a 4th season, so we're gonna get another season of The Boys, which I'm all for. So let's get more of it. It's gonna be fun. All right, good. So the whole thing with Huey in the end of that last episode, I actually found that hilarious. So, it was hilarious. I kind of saw that coming. So is the comic book still going on, or is it done? I'm going to assume that the comic books are still going on, and they're making more. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to where it goes from here. So we have 4 more episodes. So I know for sure that there's 8 episodes of The Boys. So, I'm glad because the episodes are like 50 minutes to an hour each. Oh, they ended a while back. Okay. So I'm trying not to get too into what's going on. I used to be that way where I wanted to know what went on in the comics later, but now I'm just I want to watch the show, and then I do want to get into reading the comics. So I think it's awesome that the Huey in the comics is modeled after Simon Pegg, who ends up playing Huey's dad in the show. So that was cool. Yeah, boys, I'm just excited for what's going to happen at the end of the season, where this is headed. because there's a lot of different there's a lot of things that can happen. Like there's a lot going on. Like it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on, but there's a lot going on to where a lot can go bad. Like a whole lot can go bad for a whole lot of people in a whole lot of different ways. So, if you really look into the context of what's going on in the show, um, but we're gonna segue onto Jurassic World Dominion. My daughter and I saw this last night. I was really excited. I'm not quite sure if anybody's seen it. Yeah, yeah. Well, I like the guy that they have as Huey. He's also in the new Scream movie. I think he does a good job. I like the way he does Huey in it. But Jurassic World Dominion. So we watched it last night. I was really excited for this movie. Like I wasn't in. I It's been a while since I really got pumped up for a movie because every time I did, and it's normally Star Wars, that I wasn't as excited once after the movie was over. So I went into this movie just wanting it to be just a good Jurassic World movie. Like it didn't have to be the best thing in the world. It didn't have to be Jurassic Park. It didn't have to be Jurassic World. But maybe somewhere between Jurassic World and Jurassic Park 3, but it really wasn't. Again, I'm not going to go into any spoilers with this because I'm not quite sure how many of you have seen it since it did just come out yesterday. So, want to give you guys time to watch it before, say anything about spoilers. But if you saw my TikTok, I did a review on this on TikTok, but that was just a 1 minute. I'm going to go a lot more into detail, spoiler-free detail of it, but it just, I don't know. It wasn't disappointing. It was just, wasn't bad, but it just, as I was watching it, I just didn't care. So last time I was in a movie like that was Transformers: The Last Night. It's not as bad as that one. That movie's horrible. That was one of the first movies that I saw that I really wanted to just walk out of the theater because I just didn't care. But unfortunately, I was driving the group of people that we had at the movie, so I couldn't leave. This was different. Like I wanted to watch it. Like I wanted it to get better and get better and get better. But it didn't. It kind of stayed the same tempo throughout the whole movie. The last movie, The Fallen Kingdom, it wasn't that great. Now, the more I watch it, the more it does kind of grow on me. It's still not great. It's not by far not the best Jurassic Park franchise movie, but it does get better the more you watch it. So I'm going to give this another watch eventually, but it just. So Colin Trevorrow, he kind of wrote and directed the first Jurassic World movie, and then they passed it off. They kind of pulled a Star Wars on this thing, where J.J. Abrams did Force Awakens, and then they gave it to Rian Johnson, and then they panicked and gave it back to J.J. Abrams when Colin Trevorrow, who directed Jurassic World and Jurassic World Dominion, he was going to direct Star Wars Episode 9, which ended up being Rise of Skywalker. But he came back to Jurassic World to take it back to finish the trilogy. And that's why I had high hopes, because Jurassic World was really good. Like I like that movie. It's probably the second best Jurassic Park movie out of 6 of them now. But I kind of felt like they didn't know what they wanted to do to continue the story from Fallen Kingdom. Like Fallen Kingdom changed the story pretty drastically at the end of that, took into a new world, something that's different. And I felt like they tried to box this into the same type of movie as all the other Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies. Well, not all the other, really just Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. They could have gone multiple different directions with this, but they I think they played it too safe. They brought in the legacy characters and the new characters, but I kind of felt like they they didn't know what to do with how to bring in the legacy characters, how the new characters, meet up with the legacy characters, but it was just not good. Ian Malcolm, who's my favorite Jurassic Park character, because Jeff Goldblum, of course, like he was barely in this movie. Like he was in it more than the last Jurassic World movie because he was at the front, beginning, and end of those movies of the Fallen Kingdom. But he just didn't have as big a role as I wanted him to have. I felt like he could have done more. I felt like everybody could have kind of done more. But they kind of turned this into two movies, and then kind of spliced them together. And it was just, yeah, it was just. Again, I'm gonna see it again to see if maybe change my mind the second time, which sometimes that happens. Sometimes the first time everything's new, and then once you kind of know what the world is and the story and everything, you can kind of get more of the gist of things better. Sorry, throat's getting a little dry. So that's really all I gotta say about Jurassic World Dominion. Just it wasn't my thing. All right, so last week, I want to say it was the 8th, was Ghostbusters Day, and then they had a little celebration called Ecto something. Let's see what it's called. It was a like a Ecto Fest, like it was just a festival of Ghostbuster stuff. And they announced a while ago that there's going to be a sequel for Ghostbusters Afterlife. And if anybody knows me, the original Ghostbusters is my favorite movie of all time. So, yes. So I love Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters a lot. So they already greenlit a sequel, and so they announced that they gave it a, I guess a temp. What did they call it? Basically, it wasn't an actual title. They gave it the working title of Firehouse, because Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, their base of operation was a firehouse. But the working title for Afterlife was Rust City, so like that's not going to be the final name. That's just kind of like the working title to kind of help, I guess, you understand I don't know, something with the story. But I'm excited for that because I loved Afterlife. Now, I really do hope that with this next one, they don't go nostalgic with it. I like that Ghostbusters Afterlife was nostalgic only because of it was basically like a love letter to Harold Ramis. So it was exactly what it needed to be for him, but it wasn't what it needed to be for a sequel. So I'm hoping with the next one, they don't do that and kind of move it to the next era and be its own thing and not have too many tropes in there. You got to have some things because then some things rhyme. Like with Star Wars, it's all a rhyme. But like you have to have nods here and there, but don't make the main story as far as the villains or anything connected to the other ones. Although maybe I wouldn't mind another Vigo the Carpathian, but I think he's dead for good. So we don't need it. We don't need another like sequel to Ghostbusters 2. We do need more connection to Ghostbusters 2 because Jason Reitman did say Ghostbusters 2 is canon, but there were just little Easter eggs to Ghostbusters 2 and Ghostbusters Afterlife. There was nothing in it that really made Ghostbusters 2 canon, because even with the Ecto 1, they kind of reverted it back to the way it was in the first Ghostbusters. They moved stuff around because they moved the ladder on the other side and stuff. And of course added the gunner seat. But that made people think that Ghostbusters 2 was not canon, but it is canon. So I'm hoping that they can extend some stuff with this. So another thing that they announced is that Netflix is going to produce a Ghostbusters cartoon. And there really isn't any information on it. It just, Netflix is doing a Ghostbusters cartoon. So I'm going to assume, I think most people are, that it's going to be connected to probably the Afterlife Kids in movie. A lot like they did like back in the 90s when everything had a cartoon. So I kind of feel like that's the way it's going to go. It might go a different way. They also announced that there's going to be an animated movie that's about a different team, about something, new people. So maybe the Netflix cartoon is going to be an extension of that animated movie. But who knows? Who knows? So, and last on the Ghostbusters thing is Ghostbusters is going to partner with Dark Horse Comics. I know they have a deal with IDW. I think they still have that thing going on. But the IDW comics are just kind of fun comics. But they're going to do like a limited run Dark Horse comics that are canon to Ghostbusters. So that's going to be interesting to read. If it's going to fit into between, Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2, 2 to Afterlife, after Afterlife. Most of this stuff is just, this is what's going to happen, but there's nothing behind what's happening there with the Ghostbusters Dark Horse comics. So, but I'm really excited about all that. I'm really kind of upset that I missed out on the HasLab Proton Pack, because I really wanted that, and it was affordable for Proton Pack because it was like $500. Most cosplay Proton Packs are like $1,200, $2,000. So I was really wanting to get it. However, that it was only open for pre-order for like a month, or to get into it. Okay, I'll get to the channel update. Apparently I'm rambling. Okay, I'll move on to the channel update. But yeah, I'm really kind of peeved that they only opened up that. So, channel update. So, this is a new show that's going on. I want this to be more regular. The goal is weekly. Yes, I do. Rambling is what I do best. I was born a rambling man. So maybe I need to call my show the Rambling Man Show. But depending on what happens, week to week basis on what's going on. Right now, since we do have Obi-Wan for 2 more weeks, Ms Marvel for 5 more weeks, The Boys for 4 more weeks, I can talk about those 3 things and then just add a few other things to the talking list, or just talk about those 3 things for a while. But I can talk about Power Ranger toys, because I know there's a lot. Ramblers. I think that's like an arena football team or something. That's kind of sounds like. But you just made me lose my train of thought. How dare you? But yes. Don't know what I'm yesing about. But yeah, so oh, yeah. Okay, so I heard through the grapevine, Billy, through the post on Twitter, through a post on Instagram, that they might come out with, or they're going to come out with Funko Pop figures of, yes, I did say toys, the Power Ranger Ninja Turtles. So I'm really hoping that's true. They claim it's a credible source because they've leaked credible stuff before. So that would be awesome. But I might do toy updates and stuff like that, or maybe little mini toy reviews in these live shows. And I'm gonna make these live all the time. So I'm actually having fun doing this. As long as I know what I'm talking about, or I think I know what I'm talking about, I don't ramble. I ramble a lot. But anywho, yes, Power Ranger toys. Yes. So so my movie talks. I tried to get those weekly. Sometimes they were by every 2 weeks. Yes, you can be my reporter in the field. I got some ideas for that. So let's collaborate after this show. Because I think there's some good ideas we can have in here. But okay, so my movie talk is going to kind of slow down a little bit. Just because I'm trying to do with some other shows. I have a Taco Tuesday coming. I think that's going to be a monthly show because I am horrible at writing out scripts. Like, I'll have an idea, but whenever I put the pen in my hand, it's gone. So what a normal person would take like a day to write, it's probably going to take me a month. We're going to do a Taco Tuesday talking about tokusatsu. The first one's going to be about a cereal called Supergiant. It's the first filmed tokusatsu or Japanese superhero cereal. So the first filmed basically superhero in Japan. So it's kind of fun-ish, for 1957. Unfortunately, I don't know. I can't really watch a lot of the original Japanese serials because I have not found any either dubbed or subbed ones. So the only way I could actually watch where I can understand the story is the American version, which basically they took, there's 9 serials. They took like the first 2, made it into one movie, the next 2 put in one movie, next 2 into one movie, and the next 3 into one movie. So the stories mostly stayed the same, but they kind of merged some stuff and took some stuff out. So it's not the complete story, but we're gonna go talk about that. So and something that I had done a video on before on TikTok months ago, and that's more phenomenal motivation, and that's just where I talk about an episode of Power Rangers and what motivational message is within an episode of Power Rangers. Because people think that Power Rangers is a senseless, violent show. But no, there's a heart to the show, especially Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Thank you, bro. Yeah, I need to talk to you more often. I know. That's my big bro. So good night. Get some rest. I know he's like an hour or 2 hours ahead from where I am, so it's like 10, 11 o'clock there. So I'm gonna do that, but the only thing is I don't know how I want to do that. If I want it to be like a video series, a podcast series like this, shorts for YouTube and TikTok. I'm not quite sure. That's why I haven't done anything with that yet. So still in kind of the process of how I want to work that. The Taco Tuesday is going to be more of a video series and not like this. So movie talk is going to be on the podcast. This might be on the podcast. And then this will be my live show. Again, this will be weekly. We'll just talk about stuff that's going on this week in the Nerdiverse. That's why I call it Into the Nerdiverse. So, that's my channel update. Do I have any other updates? Oh, I don't have any updates. However, as you can see, like right down here, Zeo to Hero, which has been commenting a lot. I am a partner with them on their network, so you can catch. Well, we have not put my last 2 movie talks on there, BT Dubs, Jim, but sometimes you can catch my movie talks on there, as well as my stuff too. They have a weekly podcast every Friday where they just talk about whatever their guest is into, whether it's Power Rangers, Gundam, cosplay, whatever. Check them out. I like the way they do the format of their show. It's different than you hear with a lot of other podcasts. So I think you will enjoy it. It's a fun show. So check that out. I know they're going to be doing more in the future with everything. ZeoToHero.com. Check them out. I even have a page on there that's got some of my movie talks. Gotta talk to me about what? What? Did I just get in trouble? But anywho, ZeoToHero.com. Anywho, so that's what's going on. And I had a fun time doing this. This is my first ever solo show. And it went on a little bit longer than I wanted. I know it's only an hour. I know. I'm always in trouble. So if it's not technical difficulties, it's trouble. That's what I'm here for, right? That's what I do. But yeah, thank you all. I don't know how many people are watching because this has been streamed on Facebook, on YouTube, and maybe on Twitch. It should be on Twitch, but I heard there might be issues with Twitch. Thank you, Ernst. Ernst is my best bud. My bro. Bro from another Momo. Mom. I don't know. But again, thank you guys for watching. I had fun, and I hope you had fun listening to my rambling. I'm glad that you were a part of it. If you have any suggestions on what you want this show to be, or anything else you want me to do, then let me know. You can comment at any of my videos. You can email at podcast@bakerrangers.com, and just give us your opinion. So, thank you again. And as I have to end the show, I end my movie talks this way. I'm probably going to stop ending my movie talks like that, but I'm going to end here because, we get our namesake from Power Rangers, Baker Rangers. My last name is Baker. Love Power Rangers. So, as Zordon would say to Jim, come at me, bro.